Today, we're diving into something pretty wild. It's an experiment called Project Free Life. And, it's this really unique mix of hardcore off-grid living, some seriously unconventional engineering, and a very, very personal AI. And it all kicks off in a way you probably wouldn't expect. It all starts right here, with this single receipt from a government auction back in January 2026. The final tally? Almost $26,000 on the dot. But what that money actually buys? Well, that's where the real story begins. So what in the world does 26 grand get you from a government surplus sale? Well, the shopping list is interesting. It includes a military-grade shelter, a bunch of industrial steel carports, and this thing, a 1999 Beaver Monaco motorhome that is anything but your typical RV. Now, you have to understand, this collection of gear isn't for some cross-country family vacation. Nope. This is the physical foundation, the literal anchor for a much, much bigger idea, Project Free Life. Okay, let's start with the centerpiece of this whole operation, that motorhome. It's a 1999 Beaver Monaco, but it is absolutely nothing like any RV you've ever laid eyes on. Seriously, think of it less like a home on wheels and more like an industrial time capsule. And just a quick look at the specs tells you the whole story. A gross vehicle weight rating of 33,000 pounds. It's built on a heavy-duty Magnum Air chassis with a Caterpillar turbo diesel engine that has only 15,000 miles on it. This thing was never built for a scenic drive. It's a serious industrial machine designed for something way more demanding. And when you look inside and out, its history just screams at you. The outside, just a plain, functional white box. But the inside? Whoa. It has been completely gutted. I mean, forget about comfy couches or nice countertops. This is a bare-bones utilitarian canvas. It was clearly designed to be a mobile command center or some kind of high-tech platform, not a place to relax. And here's the real kicker. Get this. The data shows it's only got 15,000 miles on the main engine, but thousands of hours logged on its massive generator. The math is pretty simple, right? This vehicle spent 95% of its life parked in one spot, just humming away, powering some seriously heavy-duty, heat-generating electronics. So yeah, it's pretty clear this machine wasn't meant for the open road. It was bought to be the anchor for something much bigger, on a very specific piece of land. It's basically the mothership for a totally self-sufficient, off-grid node. And this is where it's all going down. A plot of land in coastal Palacios, Texas. This spot is ground zero for Project Free Life, a base specifically designed for what they call extreme electrical autonomy. And when they say extreme, they mean it. The goal for solar power is huge. We're talking 15 to 20 kilowatts. But see, the RV's roof can only handle about 3 or 4 kilowatts tops. So to make up that massive gap, the plan is to build these huge ground-mounted solar arrays and even use that military shelter for backup power systems. So, how do you actually build out this fortress? Well, not with brick and mortar. This project is all about pioneering some truly unconventional, almost experimental DIY techniques to create its buildings. The main construction method is this stuff called poor man's fiberglass, or PMF. It's this surprisingly simple but really effective DIY composite. You basically just take regular fabric, like canvas, soak it in industrial-strength wood glue, and then let it dry into this hard, tough, weather-resistant shell. And the process itself is just fascinating. You start with a big inflatable thing, like a giant party tent, and that's your mold. Then you coat it with wood glue, drape fabric all over it, soak that fabric with even more glue, and then just let the whole thing cure. It hardens into a rigid, permanent structure. You are literally building with glue and air. It's incredible. Building a physical fortress is one thing, right? But Project Free Life is also building a digital one. And this, to me, is where things get really mind-bending. They're creating an AI digital twin, but one with a deep, 40-year-old history. So this AI, which is called Paul Prime, isn't being trained on random stuff from the internet. No, it's being trained on 40 years of a single developer's personal and professional life data. We're talking everything from being there at the launch of the very first iPhone, to notes on frustrations with old code, to even prototyping building designs in video games. It's all getting fed into this AI to map an entire person's professional evolution. The core idea driving this AI is something called the anti-glue philosophy. Just imagine old software as a bunch of different parts that need all this messy, custom code just to get them to talk to each other. That's the glue. Well, this philosophy just throws all that out. It uses modern systems where everything is designed to work together perfectly from the get-go. It's all about building clean and efficient systems without all that sticky, complicated code getting in the way.
Okay, so we've got the physical base, we've got the experimental construction, and we have the digital mind. But what's the point? What's the ultimate purpose of all this? Why go through all this trouble?
Well, according to the project's own documentation, it's a direct response to what they call a global threat matrix. This includes things like the push for mandatory digital public infrastructure, central bank digital currencies or programmable money, and the rise of state-controlled AI being used for things like automated censorship. And that brings us to the core belief that drives this whole thing. In a world that's being flooded with AI-generated content, they argue that the only real advantage we have left is verifiable human authenticity. So the ultimate goal here is to build a sovereign mentor, an AI that's not based on the entire internet, but is instead grounded in decades of a single, authentic, real human experience. And all of this leaves us with a final, really provocative thought. Project Free Life is one vision, one group's answer to this very question. It's an incredible attempt to forge a new path to sovereignty by literally combining a physical fortress, an experimental shelter, and a digital ghost. It's a fascinating look at what true independence might actually mean in the 21st century.